We are in the San Fernando Valley. Who are we talking to?
We are talking to Sally Mullins, comedian.
For stupid people like myself, can you give me a little bit of background on yourself, where you're from?
That's sweet of you. I'm not a household name, so I don't think you're stupid for that at all. You will soon be put on the awares about me. I am originally from England. I moved to Florida when I was like 10 years old. I've been out in LA for 20 years. I live in the West Valley now. I'm very 818 specific. I love it. I love the Valley. And I've been doing comedy for about 18 years now, mainly at the Comedy Store. I've toured for the troops. I have my own online show, and very community-oriented comedian. I run an open mic at the Pig and Whistle on Monday nights.
Right. Did you go to public school, private school?
Oh, I went to public school in the 80s, and that was fun. I did have 1 year of Catholic school, but I thought the people were not outgoing enough, and I wanted to be more popular. So although I would have thought sluts could have been really popular at Catholic school, but it wasn't working out. I wasn't slutty enough. I was a teen, and I moved to a public school in Florida that was by the beach, and pretty fun.
Favorite subject?
I'm good at English. I'm terrible at math, but my favorite subject was drama. I was all about drama. So much for no drama. I was a drama club president.
Did you do the drama for attention? Did you do the drama?
I did it because I'm a damn good actress, and especially in comedy, and it was something I was good at. You know, it was something I could excel at. I didn't excel at sports. I'm fit now, but that's because I do some sports alone. I'm terrible. I was the last one to be picked for teams. I just really wanted to be, you know, good, the best at something. So yeah, drama all the way. A lot of cool people too.
So at that point in your life, did you know what you wanted to do with the rest of your life?
I knew I wanted to have fun. I knew I wanted to have a lot of pets. I knew I wanted to have freedom. I knew I didn't want to have kids. I'm living the dream. Yeah, I always knew. Mm-hmm.
You graduated, you went to high school, public, private?
Yeah, public all the way. This was like, I don't know if you've seen, say, a movie like Stand and Deliver, which is Miami, maybe in the early 90s, and everyone's on lockdown. I think it's Miami, it's East Coast vibe. But we were right before that, so you could have a lot of fun in high school. And then I went to college and found out I could have even more fun. Like, you never had to go to class, and you could get a theater degree and a beautiful big auditorium stage. So that was super fun. So I have a degree in theater. Yeah, from Florida Atlantic University, the Owls. Whoo!
College, were you the
a slut?
The geek, the popular girl?
I was popular in the drama club. I've always been like alternative popular. I mean, I just looked like I was bullied. So yeah, I had a lot of fun in college. I drank, I partied a lot. But what kind of kept me level was being so involved in theater. And people don't know this, but theater degree is pretty tough. You are doing your classes all day, if you go, and then you're going to rehearsals like just about every night. And you've got to keep up a certain level of physicality to be able to get through that kind of schedule. I will vouch for theater majors.
In drama class, you prefer the dramas, the comedies, the classics?
I wanted to do it all. I was heartbroken in high school when our high school did Anne Frank, and he wouldn't even let me read for Anne Frank, and he's like, look at you, you're playing the Dutch girl who hides the Jews. So I've played that part a few times, yep, and shout out to her in real life, cool lady. And then once I got into college, everyone was pretty much like, look, people pay to come see these college plays, they're sponsored, and you need to stick to drama. Like, we're not taking too many, I mean, you need to stick to comedy. Keep the drama to your real life. We're not gonna take a bunch of chances. And I mean, college is cool because you get to do a lot of scene study, and I did Agnes of God. That was like a very popular play then, The Nun, and that was serious dramatic, but everyone was laughing when I did it. So yeah, I got the direction to stick to comedy, and I have done.
When did you start doing stand-up?
Started doing stand-up when I was 30 years old. I had moved to LA. I was getting into screenwriting. Regular acting wasn't really floating my boat anymore. I wanted to create and write and perform and find a way to do it without a bunch of rehearsals and a shitload of people. And I love that stand-up comedy. I had so many dudes, and a lot of them were alcoholics and depressives, and I loved it. I fell in love with it. I basically married it.
What was the coolest part of your doing stand-up?
Your twisted viewpoint being put across in a way that's concise and powerful enough to engage people in laughter. It's who you want to be all the time. It's like that elevated persona, just living in the mind of that elevated persona and how badass you get to feel. Or sometimes I do a lot of self-deprecation and you feel so vulnerable, and it's just an amazing heightened lifestyle. It's definitely not what I would call character-driven stand-up, and it's not monologue-y, and it's not about me trying to be an actor, at least not a legit one. It's really, I have tremendous respect for stand-up. I feel it's an art. I'm just proud to be a part of it. I feel like it's bitch. Like, I feel like I married my master when I turned 30.
Is all of your material based on personal experience?
Really, it is. I like to think I'm creative, but most of the stuff I talk about is true. And if my friends come see me, they're like, oh, you were talking about that guy or that situation or that BS you had to... Yeah, you're right, you know it.
Do any of your friends ever get mad at you and they recognize themselves in your material?
No, because it's usually guys and they never cared about me and they're not going to see it.
Have you ever done any material you felt you pushed it too far?
Sure. But I don't get mad at myself for that, you know. It's comedy. I had to learn that lesson. But sure, here and there I do. And I'll make a note and I'll be like, maybe temper that with this, but then sometimes driving home I'll be like, fuck it, do it again.
Do you try to do different types of material for different parts of the country? Does something go over better in the East?
Yeah, I always try to be me, but sometimes you're traveling, you're on the road, you're dealing with Trump supporters, you want to stay out of politics. Obviously, touring for the military, you stay away from politics. That would be disrespectful to the military. Whatever kind of politics you have, they're not really allowed to engage in enjoying that, you know. So that's just sort of not the area you want. You want to respect them like that. And I respect my audience. I appreciate that they came out, they sat their butts in the seats, and they're drinking for me, and they want me to be funny, and they want to have fun with me. So I'm not out to hurt people or offend people. Believe me, in my comedy, I'm taking the hits. So yeah, you temper it here and there, but I try to be myself.
How do you feel hecklers?
Well, hecklers, I'm pretty lucky. Like, people tend to be nice and polite for the most part, but you know, it does get there sometimes. And sometimes I try to be open to them and not shut them down straight away, because really funny stuff can come out of that. Like, I've had some great, amazing stuff come out of hecklers, but you know, sometimes I just go full force, and I always kind of feel with crazy people like, I'll show you who's crazy. You know, I'll show you who's crazy. So I just start going off, and bottom line is you have the mic. But I remember one of my first hecklers, and I was just really honest. And I said, please don't heckle me. Oh, I'm scared of you. And that was funny, because at that time in my comedy career, it was real. I try to keep it real with them. They have special needs.
At this point, you feel you've established yourself as a comedian?
I do feel very established and respected as a comedian. Even though I'm not famous as a comedian, I am a comics comic. And people feel like comics are, you know, depressive, psychotic people, but there's also a lot of love there. You know, it's the flip side of the coin. And I feel very supportive and loved and extremely active in the comedy community. And we'll just see, you know, we'll just see what happens. All you can keep doing is enjoy the process. I love doing comedy. And I have a lot of fans who see things the same way, because I do have strong opinions, especially about dating. And I mean, a lot of my, like, people say like, oh, comedy about dating is so dumb. But a lot of my comedy is about actually having sex. Like, my dates usually result in that. So it's deep.
Do you find your fan base more men than women?
I find it's pretty equal. It was pretty amazing last time I toured for the military. A lot of women were coming and thanking me, and they were saying, it's so cool to have a female entertainer, because we get a lot of, they go, we get wrestling, we get, you know, all male bands. We're cool with that, but it was just such a nice change. And one who's like sex positive. you know, and older and into her body and having sex and open, and so that means a lot. I would say it's pretty much split down the middle, honestly. I couldn't pick a side.
Easier to make fun of than women?
Oh, sure. I do think that female comics, we get away with giving a lot of shit to men, and I think men like to be objectified, so it tends to work out. Yeah, but I take some shots at women too, at some of the BS I have to put up with from my friends. Of course, they're usually looking out for me, but I'm gonna give them shit anyway.
Do you do any Trump material?
Well, usually the material I do about Trump is about how, say, I don't feel threatened about him grabbing my pussy personally. I don't feel like I'm quite hot enough. You know, it's like you have to be an 8 or above, and it's a really good time to be a 7 in America. It actually is. It really is. I think people need women who are attractive but not beautiful. Although don't discount the beauties, because I've worked with so many beautiful women in both legit films and adult films, and some of the coolest, smartest women I've ever met also look like 11s. They go to 11. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun with Trump these next 4 years. He's ridiculous, and he's actually funnier than any of the jokes anyone can write about him.
Groupies as a comedian.
Like chuckle fuckers? Yeah, I want more. I want more. Yeah, I've had sex with some of my fans. Usually doesn't translate into a relationship, because once they find out you're needy and vulnerable, and also not that mature. I'm basically a little girl with wrinkles. So it only goes so far. But yeah, I have some groupies. God love them.
Do they approach you as the person? Do they approach you as a persona? Are they expecting you to be dominant with them? Are they...
Yeah, usually they approach me through social media, and they just expect me to be like this kick-ass, take names, you know, alpha bitch. And I can be like that, but you know, I need a little love too. Yeah, I mean, they do expect the persona. Yes, male comics will tell you that as well, that they're groupies on the road. They think they know you, and they can get to know you.
Well, tell us about life on the road. I mean, what is that like?
LA is a bringer town. I am hosting shows in LA. The level that I'm at, I get to host shows where the comics are good, but they're unknown a lot of the time, and they're bringing their friends and family as support. It's called the Bringer Showcase Circuit, the pay-to-play circuit. Musicians have to deal with the same things. You go on the road, those are people who love comedy. They are fans of comedy. And you get your pros and cons to that, you know? But I do like on the road how they send you drinks on stage. And yeah, you've got people who want to hang out and talk after, and they're not just there to see their friends, and they are really major fans of comedy. Although I love LA audiences too, because they're so damn smart.
Is it possible to keep a serious relationship and be traveling all the time?
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to try it. I think that would actually be great. I mean, hell, we have text, you know? What's this, FaceTime? Although I'm an Android girl, but I'd like to try it. I don't know. I should try to find out. I'm almost 50.
For a guy or a girl to have a chance in hell with you, would they be tall, short, fat, skinny?
I'm totally straight. I mean, sure, I've been like queer for beer a couple of times, but I'm a bit of a cougar, mainly into younger dudes, and somebody who's not possessive, maybe really open, but honesty is super important. Super, super important. Yeah, apart from I'm pretty open about looks and race and height and shit like that. I'm tall. I can handle shorter guys. I'm pretty tall. I got the height covered.